Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone's having a fun, exciting, and safe Halloween weekend. So here we are again, back on this topic, and I'm not gonna lie, I do get tired of making these videos, but people are still hurting, and as long as people are still hurting and there's false information and potentially dangerous information still being provided out here by this woman, I feel inclined to continue to speak and be the voice for those who don't have a channel or don't, feel comfortable making videos, but they do need a voice, and their opinions and their feelings matter. They're important. So, as we have all noticed, our sweet, love it, Jodi has had a pretty major decline in subs, and we can all formulate our own opinion as to why that's happening. But I mean, I'm sure the consensus is her just not being authentic, not being true, a lot of false and misleading information being provided, and so forth and so on. And again, as I always say, these are my opinions, allegations, all that good stuff. Allegedly, yeah. Okay, so other than the decline in subs and views, there's been a few things brought to my attention. So I guess she is watching specifically my videos. I don't know about other people's videos that she may or may not be watching, but some people are specifically making points that certain comments are left in my channel, such as, for example, the fact that she continues to use the quote-unquote chemo brain as to why she can't remember anything, why she slurs her speech, why she can't have a complete thought, and she continues to blame this chemo brain. But there are multiple people that have left comments on my channel that have had cancer or currently do have cancer and have gone through chemotherapy, and they say that chemo brain does not last for years and years and years. It's a very small percent of people that have any long-term mental effects from chemotherapy, and especially, since it's been so many years since she openly has mentioned having chemotherapy. I just don't understand why we keep blaming everything on chemo brain. So here in this video, her most recent video, I guess, she did make a note, or she made a mention of this, which directly reflects that she is watching my videos, and I guess she's feeling sour about some of these comments, so we can hear her address it in this few seconds here.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to pop that on the screen since my brain is not working. I don't know what's wrong with me. Chemo brain lasts forever, just saying. Okay.
So yeah, I guess she was offended by the fact that a lot of people are saying that chemo brain does not last forever and it is only temporary, but she continues to use this as an excuse as to why she can't formulate thoughts in complete sentences and all that good stuff. But a lot of people are assuming that the real reason why she can't do that is due to the fact that she has been abusing opioids for so many years, and the opioid situation was a major topic on her channel for many years, up until, I guess, now that she's cancer free. Now she doesn't really talk about it anymore, but she also hasn't discussed, because a lot of people have asked, like, hey Jodi, now that you're cancer free and you're not in pain anymore or as much as you used to be, are you still using morphine? How did you get off morphine? Can you tell us what's going on? And I feel like it's just kind of unfair that you were so open about it when you were supposedly dying, but now that you're no longer dying and you're cancer free, that you don't even want to mention it. But I just know that people that have been on opioids for so many years, like, you can't just stop. It's a long process. They're typically tapered down. You may have to go to a clinic, I guess a detox center. This is just some of the information that I've read. It's just, it's a bit of a process getting off of long-term opioids. So it's just very odd to me that she's cancer-free now, but she hasn't mentioned the opioids anymore. She hasn't mentioned how she got off of it, and she's not correlating the fact that she's so foggy all the time, foggy-minded, can't complete a thought, can't remember anything, but she doesn't ever blame the opioids on that. It's always the chemo brain. Even though we haven't had chemo in many years, it's still the chemo brain that's causing all these lapse of memories, lapse of gathering thoughts. Yeah. So there's that. I mean, I myself and many others are very curious. How could she get off of such a high dose of morphine so quickly and she hasn't mentioned it? I mean, she's mentioned having arthritis in her spine and I guess effects from having a tumor that disappeared magically from vitamin C. But I mean, then again, a lot of us have arthritis. I mean, I'm in my 30s and I have arthritis. Who doesn't have arthritis? I don't really know any doctor that would prescribe someone morphine just for arthritis. I mean, it's very... I mean, I think that she also said she has degenerative, I'm sorry, that is such a tongue twister for me, degenerative discs or something along those lines. And yeah, I guess it's possible to be prescribed opioids for that, but I just can't see a doctor prescribing morphine. Morphine is literally like end of life type of strong drugs. I mean, I've never encountered anyone in my life that's ever been prescribed morphine for something as minor as arthritis. So it's just a lot to be said, a lot left undone. We don't understand it. We still would love answers. And I feel like since you brought it up and you made a big deal about your morphine use, we all deserve answers, especially people that are, dealing with opioid issues related to cancer and related to the fact that they had to use it for actual cancer pain and not just for arthritis and minor aches and pains that we all experience as we age. So there's that. I'm very curious about the withdrawal process because I recall in one of her videos she didn't have morphine for maybe 2 or 3 days and she was gurgling down Benadryl and all types of different things to deal with her withdrawals, and now suddenly she's cancer free. And I can't assume that any doctor in their right mind would continue to prescribe morphine to someone that's no longer dying or in terminal stage of cancer. I can't see it, but there's no talk about how she got off of it, so it's very odd. I forgot to mention this in my video, so I'm just going to add this in really quickly. Elizabeth did bring it to my attention that after I posted that video showing the picture of the scan that Jodi posted in her blog a few years back, we all noticed that in that picture you could see a small snippet of the last name, but the last name wasn't hers. It looked like Carr, C-A-R-R or K-A-R-R. We have now discovered that since I made that video, she has deleted that scan from her blog. As you guys can see here, it's no longer on her blog. So yeah, we are getting to her. We are making progress. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to bring up is this whole discussion on diabetes. It was brought to my attention that she's giving out a lot of very misguided and misleading information about diabetes. I don't want to specifically touch on it too much because I'm not well versed on diabetes or any medical terms that correlate to diabetes, but sweet subscriber Elizabeth, she said it was okay if I, provide her name. She sent me this email that goes into specifics about diabetes and all the misinformation that she's giving out. And honestly, the one thing that stood out to me was apparently Jodi said that you can take insulin or diabetes medication without food. And Elizabeth has diabetes, and she said that's very dangerous. And you could collapse. Like, a lot of things could happen if you did that. So let's not be following Jodi's advice about diabetes and all that, because that's very dangerous and that's scary. So yeah, you can pause the video and read this email here that she gave this information. And as well as here, she had pointed out that she caught Jodi in another small potential lie. I guess prior to the interview that she had with the other cancer patient, Jodi was offline for a few days and stated that she was in bed for days with a migraine, but this sweet subscriber put the timeline together, and this was during the same time that she recorded the interview. So she misled her viewers for sympathy, I suppose, saying that she was in bed with a migraine, but yet we all recall she was all dolled up and looking in the camera constantly, admiring herself during this interview with this sweet woman. So it's kind of hard to believe that you had a migraine if you were, filming this interview, you were all dolled up and all you could see was yourself, Like, I recall she barely let this woman speak. She kept cutting her off, and yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with these little lies, these little white lies, these alleged lies. it's just weird. And it's sad when people can just like point them out so quickly, so frequently as well. Like I'm getting emails and little tips more often than ever about these little lies that people catch her in. So yep, there's that. I noticed that in her comments, there has been several people asking her, you know, how in the world did this vitamin C cure your cancer? And people continue to ask her this, and she won't respond to it. But yet before, when she was promoting vitamin C, she was all about talking about it, showing people how much energy it gave her, how amazing it was. But now that she's suddenly cancer-free, she does not want to address these specific comments about how did that lead to you being cancer-free. Can you give us more information? I have cancer. I would love to know, like, what dose did you use? And she's just now avoiding all of that completely. So I think she knows that she's dug herself a bit of a hole here with this vitamin C situation, and she's trying to completely distance herself from that, it seems like. So yeah. And of course, we have to touch on this depression thing. I mean, people are saying that she is so desperate for this attention with this major loss in subscriptions that she is now using something as serious as depression to reel people back in. She doesn't want to talk about cancer anymore, so she's got to find something else because she knows she's been, you know, pretty much caught red-handed exaggerating her condition, allegedly, quote unquote. So now she has to talk about depression. And people, I feel like it's truly enraging people that truly do suffer with depression, because depression is no joke at all. I mean, there are people that commit suicide over depression. They can't get out of bed. They can't take care of their children. They're having to go to inpatient therapy centers to deal with their depression. Depression is nothing to make light of. And I remember reading her comments for the new video about depression. Apparently, there was a woman asking, or she was really upset because this video was over an hour long and you don't even mention anything about depression into the very last few minutes of an hour-long video. But yet you can show your outfits off, do your makeup, do all these things that people who are usually depressed could care less about. You can do all this glamorous stuff and then you can leave 2 or 3 minutes at the end of your video to discuss your depression. I mean, to me, it seems, as I state, in my opinion, it just seems like this depression is a big cover-up to divert people from what she's done. Again, not take accountability for what she's done, not address the people that she's hurt. So I don't know. I think that's just a new low for her, to start using this whole depression thing to reel people back in. But it doesn't seem like it's working, because as people keep leaving comments on my channel, that she's steadily losing subscribers. So I really in my heart feel like she needs to just take accountability, take a step back, and really address the people that she's hurt. I mean, why is it so hard for her to do that? I just don't understand. Like, we're adults here. Just take accountability for what you did. Yes, I'm sure you had cancer, but you exaggerated your condition for subscribers. And as many people are noting, there are agencies that look into this. There's felony charges related to this. There's multiple cases you can Google about women that have done this, you know, and have gone to prison about this. So it's just nothing to take lightly, and I think it's time, you know, to start doing some repercussion cleanups, you know. We got to do something here. Well, not we, she needs to do something to backtrack and really take accountability for what she's done. And I'm waiting for that, you know, and hopefully once that happens, and if it is sincere, then maybe my work on this situation is done, and maybe it's time for me to look into other people that are doing similar things. I heard there's a couple other channels that are very similar to hers with women that are exaggerating cancer, and I would like to, you know, change focus to other people and other situations, but there's just too many people that are so invested in this situation and they're still very hurt, and there's been no course of action on her behalf to make it right. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Someone did make a note that I suppose she made some... Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know if it's still there. Let me see. I guess she made a community post addressing her channel and the changes in her channel. Let's see if it's still there. Well, that's new. Life of chronic illness. That is so insane to me. Like, too cute for cancer. You're terminally ill. There was a person in her comments that literally left all of these extreme clickbait titles that she's left in the last 2 years about knocking on death's door, how do I deal with hospice care, what am I going to do with my last day, all these insane clickbait titles, you know, and now all of a sudden, like, you're no longer terminal, you're just dealing with chronic illness. And what is the chronic illness? I mean, arthritis? Do you really consider arthritis a chronic illness? I mean, I suppose, but that's more so just from aging. I mean, I could be wrong. But yeah, this is where she made a post saying that she's gonna start, I guess she wanted to stop talking about cancer, but obviously she's feeling that hit of loss of subscribers, so she's gonna have to start talking about it again. I guess Tony's putting pressure on her to start lying again so that she can get her subscriptions back up. But I kind of feel like unless she is targeted at a whole new group of people that don't know the backstory, I don't know if it's possible to recover at this point. She's just too far into this, you know? So yeah, she was just talking about how she's going to start talking about chronic illness and all these things again. And we'll see what happens, you know? I feel like she's digging her hole even deeper by doing this, by even making this post. It's just, it's beyond me. So many times when I sit down and make these videos, I am totally at a loss of words of what to say because it's just so mind-boggling what she's doing. It really is. But I don't know. It'll be crazy if she's hit with some felony charges for all this stuff that she's doing. A lot of people say that it's a possibility and it could be happening right now, as far as we know, allegedly. Who knows? But yeah. All right, guys. Well, I hope this video was helpful, and please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to. I'll continue to make videos as long as you guys need me to, and I will see you guys next time.